Well, hey there, it's Jen.
And Elke, welcome back to the Jen and Elke Show, where we love talking about print-on-demand marketing and strategy. But today we're going to focus on the Zazzle platform because there's a big change that just happened. Stick around. We're going to help you understand what that change is. What are the three top things that you need to know and do as to how to make sure that you're not affected by this change and that you actually can use it to your advantage. And we're going to get into some screen sharing to show you specifically what those changes are and what you should be looking out for. So stick with us and let's get into it. Maybe,
Mm.
Jen, you want to tell us a little bit, tell everyone a little bit more about what's going on and what just
Well,
happened?
yeah, so Zazzle just updated their design tool platform system. So on the Zazzle platform, if you've been on here for a couple years, Elke and I have been on the Zazzle platform since 2008. So we've seen a couple different design changes for the design tool. Definitely, it was a lot more primitive back then. So don't freak out. The tech is different, but we're going to go walk through with you to show you a little bit about what that is and how you can navigate that, because it's obviously very different. You probably got already a little bit of a taste of it when you were possibly on other people's products, if you went in to customize those things. And I know that in our community, especially if in your Profit by Design Academy, which is actually open for enrollment now, which is exciting at the time of this recording. So if you've been part of our PDA experience, you know that Elke and I, we design, critique our students' work, and then also we go in and look at examples for other people's products to showcase like templates and how things are done. So you've probably already seen us, if you've been in our community, go in on the customer side of things. And so on the customer side of the design tool, it's already changed into that beta format. And so you've probably already gotten a little bit of a taste of it. But on the designer side of things, it was still the old format, and they've switched it over. It is now not optional. Before, they actually had a little toggle where you could decide to opt out of that beta option, but now it's definitely across the whole platform. There might be some product types that don't have the actual interface yet. They might be just working their way through things, because I know that, for example, when they switched over to the new design tool, certain things like gold foil and some other random products were still on the old design interface just because of the product that you're designing on. But you basically will see the new interface on all of the products that you're customizing and posting for sale. Okay. So we're going to walk through this this new interface change with you. As I said, don't be scared. It looks different, but there's everything all there for you. There are some changes, but we're going to walk through those changes with you right now. I'm going to do my screen share, and we'll dive into it. Okay, so I have just selected a random product. I chose a pillow. You can get to this by doing the create your own, and then go to create your own, and you can choose any product that you'd like to start designing on. And I will go into personalize this design, and you can already see that this is popped up. This is the new design interface. This is something that you will have to navigate through and work with. There are some pluses, of course, and also some minuses. But some of the things that I really enjoy is this zoom action here. You can go really, really close up, and you can design really like hone in on your design. Before, it wasn't actually the greatest zoom process, and it actually kind of went over, like the menu bar was on top of the product and things like that. So here you can play around with that, which is really nice. So the first and second thing that I want to talk about is that you must do these things to get your templates to work. Okay. First of all, you can already see that it's prompting me to add text. Here I can add an image. I can search for my images. I can also then add my background, and then this is where my layers are, and here's where the elements are with shapes, and also your frames and your QR code. Okay, so just a quick rundown of the things that you can add onto your product. When you're adding a text box here, you can just obviously write in whatever text you are creating, part of your design. I'm just going to write the word hello. And here, once I have that text selected, you can see that there's a menu that pops up here. And this is where you manipulate your text. So you can change your font, you can change the size, you can actually edit it to change it if you made a mistake for whatever reason. And then you can also do your formatting here, and also effects, which includes opacity and tiling, and then having your text shadow on and off. This is stuff that's manipulating your text. When you have an image selected, it's going to be a little bit slightly different. Okay, so you can play around with that and navigate that, but that's basically where everything is when it comes to corresponding with your text. Okay, so in order for you to actually get your text be a proper template, okay? Because templates are a big thing on Zazzle. Customization is a big thing on Zazzle. That's what Zazzle prides itself for. You want to make sure that your templates are working. Thankfully, the new design tool on the customer's end of things actually allows them to select a lot more and change a lot more when templates aren't involved. But that being said, you still need to set your templates properly so that they're prompted to change the text or change the image if it's necessary for your design. Okay. So in order to do that, previously, if you remember the old design tool, and at the time of this recording, if you're watching this for the first time, you're like, this is cool. Zazzle's awesome. I'm going to start today. Then you have no recollection or memory of what I'm going to be talking about right now. But when I had my text selected right here on the right-hand side, there was a menu that popped up, and that's where you did all of these functions here. Changing your color of your text, changing the font. That's where you also scrolled all the way down at the bottom to create it as a template. That's not here anymore. Where it is at is on your selling options. Okay. And so you're going to click on the selling options, and you're going to then scroll down at the bottom here. And this is where you can toggle over to make this a template. I suggest that you don't touch these two here. It says make it permanent and always visible, or disable all interaction. I like to make my product as easily customizable by the customer as possible. So for example, if they don't want a certain image or a certain thing of text there, they can delete it potentially. If you disable all interaction, it means that they can't touch it or like modify it. So I highly recommend that those two stay toggled over to the left and you don't touch them. Here is where you are.
One's toggled to the left and one's toggled to the right. Yeah. Or no, they both are. Why is one shaded out?
I don't know.
Yeah. I just thought that one was still on.
It's probably because it's a text box rather than an image. So when we get to an image, this will be different. So yeah. So then this is where you scroll down, and then this is where you can put in your product page label. It's interesting because on the newer version, on the customer side, this kind of disappeared. I think it's coming back because in the old version, you were able to put a label on. But then when they switched over to the new customer version of the design tool, for whatever reason, that kind of disappeared. Now they're adding it back. And so this is where you can label this. So for example, if I had my name Jennifer in here, if I wanted to, for whatever reason, have my name in here, then I could label this when I'm going back into my selling options, label this as put your name here. Okay. To give them a prompt to suggest to them what they're supposed to do. Obviously, this is very basic, but if we get down to the detailed products, like for example, wedding invitations or birthday invitations, where venues are involved, where dates are involved, where times are involved, then you can prompt them to put in what information they need there so that they get an idea on how it's supposed to be structured. Because not everybody is as, let's call it like, I don't want to say as smart, but if you have like a whole bunch of text there and it's not something that they're prompted to change, and if you don't put in the proper sample text to give them an idea of what they need to do, then they might be a little bit lost on what to put in there. Okay. Not all the time, but it's really great to put a label for your template. Then I do not want you to touch this. This is something that is part of the Zazzle algorithm / parameters for creating the actual template. So if you remove that text, if you change the word text to something different, if you change that number, the whole system is going to be messed up. Okay, so just leave this alone. And then you want to have this toggled over to the right that says allow editing on the product page. All right, so that is the text version for templates. I'm just going to delete that now here. Now what we're going to do is add an image, okay? And I want to just quickly say to everyone, and I did some testing in the back end, if you have an image that's actually like a PNG or a JPEG, it can be made a template. If you have uploaded an SVG file as a graphic, or like a SVG, it cannot be made a template. And I know that a lot of people upload graphics and sometimes they make them templates for whatever reason. You don't need to create templates from graphics unless it's absolutely necessary, because most likely people are going to buy your product obviously because it has a graphic associated with it. That's either like, let's call it a watercolor flower, or if it's a little elephant with a balloon for a baby shower, like those are incorporated in the design. And the reason why the person is buying that design is because they've searched for those keywords. So graphics don't need to be templates. SVGs in this new system actually cannot be templates. So I'm going to add a picture of whatever this here, like 2 little kitties next to a Christmas tree. Same sort of thing. Once the image is selected, you have a whole bunch of menu options here. They're a little bit different than the text. Obviously, we have the background remover here, and then we have the fit and fill. We also have our formatting and then our effects where you can crop it in terms of different ratio. You can change the opacity, and also you can put filters. One thing I want to say with filters is that once you add a filter onto a photo, let's say, for example, black and white, if somebody uploads that photo, or sorry, changes the photo to their own after you've made it a template, their photo, even if it is in color, will be changed to black and white. So I always suggest putting no filter on there. And if you wanted to, for whatever reason, have a black and white photo in your original image, upload a proper black and white photo from the beginning. Okay. Here, once again, your selling options. Now we have this toggled over and it's not shaded out. So I can say, make it permanent and always visible, disable all interaction. Don't touch these two. Scroll down here to make this a template. Same sort of thing. You get to product. You have a product page label. So you can put in your image and then don't touch this, which is the product parameter URL name. Okay. And then make sure that you allow editing on your product. This is different than the text template. You're going to keep scrolling down. It is already automatically set to fill, which is the recommended one. And if you were to toggle this down, you can see that there is fit and none. Fill means that if somebody has a portrait size photo, for example, it is going to fill in this entire horizontal landscape space. So it's going to like zoom in their photo and it's going to fill in that whole space that's outlined by this photo. If I were to, for whatever reason, choose fit or none, it means that whenever somebody uploads a photo that is a different size than what's originally put here, it's just going to fit it in there in that space. And so if they have a portrait size photo, their portrait size photo is just going to be within where my cursor is outlining right now. And then you're going to have 2 white spaces on the sides here. And you don't want that, especially if your image is definitely making up part of your design, okay? And so make sure that it's always on fill. That's a recommended one. The other ones are used very rarely in certain circumstances, but make sure that you have that in fill. It's always defaulted to that, so you don't have to worry about it too much, but just make sure. Then last but not least, you have this option here to force customers to replace with their own content. You can toggle that over. What that does is when somebody is editing your product and then gets to, let's say, the review option, it's going to give them a little warning sign saying, hey, you need to upload your own photo and change your photo for this one, because it's just letting them know that this is not something to be purchased. More times than none, people are obviously going to put in their own photo because they're not going to buy a picture of a random group of children here like we have here. They want to see their own family or their own picture. So you can toggle that over if you would like, but I would, whatever you feel is necessary or recommended if you want to. Okay. And then the last thing that I want to talk about here really quickly, and where is it here on my side here? So the extra steps that you must do to post your product for sale. So let's say now I want to post this product. I'm happy with it. Everything's all good. I've got my templates. Okay. I have it all set. So now I'm going to go to next. We're going to design. It's going to ask me to prompt to look at the back of the design. Because this product, I chose a pillow, has 2 sides. It's going to prompt me to do that. If you had a product like, for example, a button or a keychain that doesn't have a back to it, then it's not going to ask you to do this. If you have a product that has multiple different layers, like, for example, the gift boxes or a duffel bag, it's going to prompt you to do all of the different places that are blank if you haven't posted or put anything on it yet. I'm just going to, for purposes of this tutorial, leave it blank. So I'm going to go to the next step here. This is what's different in the new design tool, is that you can actually now select your options for your product type. I chose the original pillow from the create your own list, right? I just chose a random pillow. But let's say I go through all of these steps now and I say, oh, actually, I don't want the cheapest one. I want to have maybe a different product that has zipperless cotton or an outdoor. Obviously, these options are very specific to pillows. If I were to have chosen a mug or a t-shirt or a hat, for example, then it would be something different here. So whatever options are available on the Zazzle platform for the different styles and also the different shapes. So maybe I want to have a lumbar pillow, and actually, funny enough, my picture fits better in this one. So I'm going to maybe choose this one. You can see that the price changes here though. So depending on what size or style you've chosen, it's going to be either more or less expensive from the original one. Usually I like to choose the basic option and then let people either upgrade or downgrade based on their own personal wants and needs. Okay. So now I'm going to click next, which is now the review. Okay, and so everything's all done. Things look good. It's actually going to give you some tips here that says templates are properly identified and labeled. Objects are not intended to be interacted with. Customers are marked as such. Discard any unused layers. It's going to let you like think twice and say, okay, are you really wanting to post this for sale, or is there something that you might need to go and check before you say yes? And interestingly enough, this morning when I was creating products, it was already toggled over, like it was defaulted to the buy toggle. Okay, so I always had to toggle over to the sell, but this is where you can actually personally buy something, right? Because obviously Zazzle is also a website where people like myself and or other random people who are not sellers on Zazzle can actually make their own products and buy directly from Zazzle. But we are sellers and we're in the selling option. So we're going to toggle over to the sell button here. And then once we're going to do that, we're going to click the sell button. And then this will look familiar to many people. This is still the old interface of the post product for sale page. And so then you're going to put in your title, your tags, your description, all of that stuff, and put it into your store and your categories and put it into a collection. Okay. So those are the three things that you need to know for the new design tool. Is that the new interface, unfortunately, it's not optional. There are certain things that you need to do for making sure that your templates get to work. And then also there are some extra steps that you need to do for posting your product for sale through the review process and also the selling process with the different styles. If you want to know more,
because I'm like, I like that they say, oh, you know, check this and this, but then you have to like, I've done that. I like go back and there's no really easy way to go back. So that's the other thing. The extra step is literally you have to like toggle back in the cursor, or is there a button now? Because before there wasn't, and it would be really cool if when they, you know, did this, that you got to go back to the design tool. How do you go back to
okay.
the design?
So sorry, I'm going to share my screen once more then. So what I just did was I was on actually that post product for sale page. I clicked the back button on my actual browser and it took me back to this original page here. So I have to now go back into the sell it, which is interesting because I went back literally on my browser and I can personalize it and get back into the design tool, or I can actually now say it says sell it right away. It's going to take me to the review. But then what you're going to have to do is, let's say you want to go back. There is a back button here. So you can go back to the other things.
Okay.
And, or you could probably just toggle over. So if I want to go to the review or the options, I can toggle through.
Okay. So there it is up there. Okay. Because before there wasn't that, they keep changing it because they're updating it. They're getting a lot of feedback, and that's already great that there's something there. Yeah, because the other thing that I wanted to mention is when it's the extra steps of what you must do. Where can they add their mock-up now or later? Because or also they can choose from the side as to which one of those versions they can show as the original, like posted product with a product mock-up or just on its own. Just wanted to show that part a little bit more because
so we
different product types, but here's also really a cool quick way to get to a product mock-up that Zazzle offers. But when you get to put the product mock-up in, they have to do that after, right? I kind of know the answer. I'm just trying to help put this into perspective for people who don't know. Yeah.
Then you answer. Then you say it.
No, because I haven't done it in the new one yet.
Oh, okay. So I thought you said you knew. So I'm assuming because I haven't, you would choose one of these, right? And then once one is chosen, then you would say sell it. And then let's just scroll down and see this is what the mock-up comes up as.
So there it is. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then after you post it for sale, obviously, then you're able to upload your own mock-up once you made it, right? But there's at this point in time, it would be kind of cool. But of course, you have to obviously make the product first and then make a mock-up for it. But it would be really neat if you could actually upload
Yeah.
your media right all in one, even though, because what you could do technically at one point is take a picture, a screenshot of one of these things, and then create your mock-up using this image here and then upload it. But you have to do that afterwards. You can't upload an image while you're in the posting stage.
Yeah, which is a really good point. Yes, we wanted to
Mhm.
help you understand that. Okay.
And so, because we did the design tool and you might be overwhelmed and you obviously want to maybe know a little bit more of the ins and outs, there's so many things in that design tool that I didn't cover today. I just did a huge overview. There are certain things with creating patterns, how to do the different views, what to do for different orientations. If you have a different product type that you can switch it around and move it around. So if you would like to learn more, not only about the design tool, but just your business in general on Zazzle, to up level and create a power selling Zazzle store, we have our Profit by Design Academy experience, and it is now open for enrollment. And you can go to elkeclarke.com/start and scale. And we're really excited. We just wrapped up a cohort at the end of February. And we are opening up another cohort in April. And the Profit by Design Academy experience is open for enrollment now, which means that you get instant access if you join right now to the course material. And then during the month of April, we're going to be doing a really wonderful, amazing Achieve Bootcamp that will help you create 100 products within that month. We're going to be doing them together, and we're going to be giving you personalized reviews on your products that you make. And yeah, everyone just absolutely loves the experience, and they have so much that they get out of it. And we help you, and like throughout that process, create those 100 products. And there are 100 products that you might be thinking, wow, that's a lot of work, but we make it easy for you, which is awesome. So yes, the Profit by Design Academy experience is open for enrollment. I don't know if you wanted to say anything else on top of that for the PDA.
Well, yeah, it's just because the people who are brand new, just listen up. This is the one and only done for you experience where you get to just right away just get handed everything on a platter so that you can fully understand what it takes to get going on the Zazzle platform. For anyone who is on the Zazzle platform already, has a store, they may be lost money with the changes that have happened over the last year. You all really need to realize that your business is not affected by Zazzle. It is affected by the choices that you made, that now when there is a change like the tool or some other changes that keep coming, because that's part of the e-commerce industry, then that means that there's a hole in your business somewhere. There's something wrong with your processes, your choices, or your systems as to how you're doing things, and all of that gets really identified in this Profit by Design Academy experience, because we're with you for a whole month. We help you with the foundational aspects, and it's not just for beginners, it's for people that, like we just had in this last cohort, people who have made over $250,000 in earnings in the program, and they go like, I didn't realize that I hadn't had everything organized to really scale further, and I was wondering why I was hitting a ceiling. So this is really important to get this set in. First of all, for beginners, it's awesome because then you don't even know any better. They don't have to fix anything. You just do it right to start with. And for advanced people, this is your way to get back in the game. This is a $20 billion industry in 2026. And if you're not making the money you would like to make, there has to be some shifts as to how you're doing work on the Zazzle platform to get those maximized sales. And that's what we're here to do for the Profit by Design Academy. That's so exciting. We love helping people do that. We've helped people make over $165 million in sales already. So let's get you on board as well and be part of our next cohort.
Yes. And the way that you can do that is by clicking the link in the description below and or going on your own to elkeclarke.com/start and scale. We can't wait to see you in the academy. Thanks for watching. Bye.